this issue, and China and India and Japan and all of the other nations are not following, then he's just taking a walk. And he's taking a walk at the expense of the men and women in the West Virginia coal fields. 7,000 jobs and more to come. This is a travesty. We have got to stop this. That's what this election's about.
For point of clarification, do you think the scientists are wrong?
I don't necessarily think the climate's changing, no. But I think we have to find a balance and a way to address this without hurting the heartland of this country, without hurting West Virginians and West Virginia families.
There's rebuttal.
Hoppy, I have listened to the scientists. I know that there is a consensus, and I don't disagree with them. At the same time, I don't think that we need to choose between clean air and clean coal, and or clean air and good-paying jobs, rather, because I know that we have the technology that can meet the demands, and that's why I have challenged the president. I've challenged the EPA. We have the National Energy Technology Lab in Morgantown that can develop carbon capture storage, CCS. I've challenged the president to use the $8 billion that's in the Department of Energy in guaranteed loans, that instead of using them as loans, take the money, directly invest, and have this technology that's going to save our jobs and that's going to have technology use around the world that will make coal more competitive. And that's why the United Mine Workers have endorsed me. They've looked at me in this race where the coal miners know that I will save their jobs.
I'm going to ask this question, and we have about 3 minutes left in the program. I'm going to ask each of you maybe to give me a 1-minute response on this if you can. Last year, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down a section of the Federal Defense of Marriage Act that prohibited recognition of same-sex marriage. Since then, we've had all these court decisions, one just yesterday, a non-decision decision, that's essentially paving the way for same-sex marriages in West Virginia. I think both of you oppose same-sex marriage, but Secretary Tennant, let me start with you, 60 seconds, maybe a little bit less. Do you support or oppose same-sex marriage, and does what's happening with the courts change your opinion at all?
You know, Hoppy, I have thought about this, truly thought about this and prayed about this. And, you know, I think about how do I want to be treated? And I try to live by the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And how do I want to be treated? I want to be treated equally and fairly. And I think that under the law, people should be treated equally and fairly. Now, does a church go against its doctrine? No, not at all. A church should not go against its doctrine, and it should not be forced to. But I think that we as West Virginians know about fairness, and we know about freedom. Mountaineers are always free.
So is that a support for same-sex marriage?
It's support for equality, and it's support for the law being equal under the law.
About 60 seconds.
Marriage.
Well, my voting record and my personal belief is that marriage is between a man and a woman. I have a long history on that, dating back from when I was in the West Virginia legislature. But I believe the decision that's been made is basically saying that the states will make their own decisions. And I will abide with what the state of West Virginia decides in this matter.
Okay. Well, listen, I want to thank you both very much. We appreciate you coming by. It was a spirited discussion. Congresswoman Capito, thank you. Good luck out on the campaign trail. And Secretary Tennant, thank you. Good luck on the campaign trail. Thank you very much.
This West Virginia Senate debate and other debates.
I'm Brooke Thibodeau. Both Congresswoman Shelley Moore Capito and Secretary of State Natalie Tennant are claiming victory. Todd Boucher spoke today to a candidate not in last night's forum and joins us from the newsroom with more on his thoughts. Todd.
Yeah, Brooke, Libertarian John Buckley was one of 3 candidates not invited to participate in last night's debate. His first description of it when I asked him about it was that it was boring. Buckley says, among other things, the discussion did not include issues such as abortion and spying on Americans through the NSA. There also was little discussion, he said, about how the U.S. should respond to the growing ISIS threat from the Middle East.
What would have been interesting would be had the 2 major party candidates been challenged by the other 3 candidates who have varying perspectives, and would have drawn out the 2 major party candidates more clearly on some of the vague positions that they took during the debate. It was mostly blah, 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 Cole, blah, 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 Obama.
Besides Buckley, the other 2 candidates on the ballot for the November election are Phil Hudock of the Constitution Party and Bob Henry Baber of the Mountain Party. Buckley says he still hopes to be included in another debate later this month, Brooke, for which details are still being worked out.
Todd Boucher live from the newsroom. Thank you.